Lynn Sullivan, and today I'd like to talk about the choice is yours. 3 things you control every day are your attitude, your effort, and your actions. We can't always control the events of our life, but we can control our response. Every day you choose to be positive, work hard, and make others around you feel better. Being proactive in response to our situations can help strengthen relationships and make others around us feel our kindness, compassion, and understanding. After all, isn't that what we all want from others? Can you remember a time when you wish you had reacted differently to a situation? Be honest. I think we've all been in those situations. This hit home with me a few years ago when I had an absolute blowout with my children before going to work. I won't go into details, but it was a situation that got on my last nerve. I lashed out at my son and my daughter and said some pretty nasty stuff. When I returned home from work that day, I found the 2 of them sitting on the couch at opposite ends watching TV. I apologized for my behavior, or so I thought. I used the big but in there, somehow justifying my response earlier. But my daughter said to me, "I don't accept your apology. You've always yelled at us and then think that saying sorry fixes it all." I was shattered. I understood completely what she was saying. I was reactive to the situation I was in. I was not being proactive. I facilitate workshops on this very thing, but wasn't putting it into practice in my daily life. That was the day I started taking responsibility for my actions. The very word responsibility is made up of response and ability. I can choose my response to the situations that I'm in. I'm not sure if any of you can remember back to your university days and studying Pavlov and his stimulus response model. The Pavlovian theory is a learning procedure that involves pairing a stimulus with a conditioned response. In the famous experiments that Ivan Pavlov conducted with his dogs, Pavlov found that the objects or events could trigger a conditioned response. From there, we have our traditional stimulus response model that we know today. Dr. Viktor Frankl was an Austrian neurologist and psychologist imprisoned in a concentration camp during World War II. His observations during this time in the camps led him to write the now famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. In the book, Dr. Frankl says, "When we are no longer to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our greatest freedom." You have the ability to choose your response to any situation that you find yourself in. Every day we're faced with thousands of stimulus, but we do get that choice. For example, can you imagine someone yelling at you to answer the phone? Your immediate response would be, "I'll get it," or "Why don't you answer it?" Instead of reacting immediately to the yelling, you can stop, take a breath, and choose a better response. I'm in the middle of something that requires my full attention. I'll answer it once I'm finished. And if they hang up, I promise I'll respond immediately to the voicemail. It's a much kinder response with the same results. I find that remembering I don't have to respond right away gives me a sense of empowerment over the situation I'm in. On 2 separate occasions, I've actually called an emotional meeting to an end, saying that we need to take a time out and reconvene at a later time. I've only done it twice, but I was happy that I did. I know that my emotions would have got the better of me and I would have damaged or ruined a relationship. The second way that we can show our kindness, understanding, and compassion is to use proactive or positive language. I struggle with this one daily, but I try to use it as often as possible. Instead of taking accountability for our actions or behavior, we give our power away to others or our circumstances. How often have you said, "He makes me so mad," or "I have to do this because I was told to," or something similar? I know I'm guilty. I have to take responsibility for my own actions, feelings, and words. Instead of "He makes me so mad," try using "I have control over my feelings. I will not let this affect me." Instead of "I have to," how about "I choose to" or "I want to"? You take control over the situation and you feel much better about your task or chore. I use this a lot in my training. I have pairs of people and I ask them to list what they have to do that day, both at home and at work. After listing a number of things, I ask them to repeat the same list, but using proactive language. It never ceases to amaze me how the mood changes. Instead of saying "I have to go grocery shopping tonight," A person will say, I want to go grocery shopping so that my family has good food. Or I have to finish my budget report. They say, I get the opportunity to finish the budget report so that my department knows our results. In every single case, the person who is talking justifies why they're doing something, and it's always positive. Try this yourself. Get a partner and do this exercise. I promise you'll be amazed. The third way that we can show kindness to ourselves and others is to realize what we control and what we can't. It helps to put events or circumstances into perspective and gives us control over our actions and behaviors. Perhaps you've heard of the circle of influence and the circle of control. Your circle of control is those things that you control, your mood, your actions, and your responses. Your circle of influence is those things that you cannot control. Let's say the weather, the price of gas, the economy. The more you concentrate on the things that are within your control, the larger that circle of control gets, and the smaller the circle of influence becomes. Here's an example. I have no control over the fact that it's raining out today. I do have control over my mood. Regardless of the rain, I can be pleasant and kind to those around me. There's nothing I can do about it. I also have control over how I deal with the rain. Bring an umbrella or wear a raincoat so that I don't get wet. Can you think of situations in your job that this principle applies to? How about your personal life? When you focus on the things within your control, you're better equipped to be proactive with those around you. Here's some of the simple ways that you can incorporate these ideas into your daily life. 1, start using proactive language in your daily huddles or your department meetings. 2, make a list of positive sentence starters and practice using them daily. Share them with your coworkers. And 3, make kindness the focus of the team. Recognize proactive behavior and responses. Every day, you can choose to be positive, work hard, and make others around you feel better. We all need more understanding, compassion, and most of all, kindness.